future, the leadership factor. Now, my name is Banjore and I grew up in Lagos. I actually grew up in Islam, Ajemule, and but as things will turn out, I went to a local school, and my English was very bad. My English was not like this, so it's just self-development. I grew up on pidgin English and not phonics, and went to local schools, Afon, Saint Louis Saint, and of course went to school in my village. So when he was talking about the reverend, I actually lived with a reverend who had a farm. Oh, is it Reverend Fadipe? Okay, all right. So because I grew up with a reverend who has a farm too, you know. So, and of course, God gave me this idea about leadership, and I wouldn't know why God gave me that idea, but we started running it. Called Tosin, called a few other guys. We sat down on the floor in my house, and we're just like, how can we help people? And as God helped us, we've gone around most secondary schools, most private-owned secondary schools in Kwara State. It's difficult to go to the public schools, but we've gone around most of the major private schools, from Thomas Adeomi, Roadmate, and the rest of them. And then we've also curated a lot of leadership trainings in Ilorin called Leadership and Lifestyle. And then you won't know about it because it's not a crusade or a church or a political event, you know. Trainings are very exclusive, you know. And gone to schools in Ilorin, Kwara Poly, College of Islamic Studies, to just see how we can be of help to people. And I'm so happy when we use other people, or when we use what we know to pour ourselves into a lot of people. So I'm a Facebook person, most there, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, I'm there. And then I run meetings fortnightly on Tuesday and Wednesday on Facebook. I talk about leadership and lifestyle. So we are going to talk about creating the future using leadership. But the first thing is that what is the future? So the future is the minute after you stop speaking, or the minute after you stop writing. That is the future. So my mission here is how to show you that you can create greatness, both as an individual and as a community, or with your brand, tweaking your leadership brand. So, like you're all aware, most nations and communities were built upon the platform of great leadership. So without great leadership, you cannot actually achieve anything. So the guys that have shared with us from the foregoing here, you would have heard them say, I did this, I did that, I thought about this, I thought about that. My slide is off, that I did this and that's because they are actually great minds and great leaders. So nations have been built upon the platform of leadership. Now, the question I would like to ask you is that, what exactly does Great Britain have? Do they have cocoa, beans, dodo, or cassava? So, because they are not really an agricultural nation, but they actually rule the world, and that's because that nation has been built upon great leadership. So it's important that you and I understand this. Then also, business brands, America and several Western nations have been built upon that factor called leadership. There's a man called John Rockefeller, Winston Churchill, Nelson Mandela, and of course men that got used to pilot Nigeria into where it is now. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Ahmadu Bello, Chief Obafemi Awolowo. So these are great leaders. Now, leadership is not a cultural thing. It's not a chieftaincy title. It has moved away from that. It used to be where the chief of the village was the leader, the Ashepa was the leader, the oldest man was the leader, and it has moved from that. So if you are still there, if you are still in that enclave, then you have actually missed it, because leadership is different now. It's not about It's not about your age, it's not about your clan, it's not about the car you drive, it's not about anything. As a matter of fact, many of the biggest, richest people nowadays are into tech and into things that you will not expect, and they are not very loud dressers. You know, I grew up in Lagos, and most of the people, so there's a difference between Lagos and Ilorin. In Ilorin, you see people dress casually, don't really speak English, but they have houses and they have cars. But in Ajegule, where I grew up, you see people living in one small room, no car, but dress very flashily and they talk very loudly. Some of us, we are like that. We try to impress before we take root downward. You know, Shola said a lot of things about the fact that you need to think about homegrown. Build up yourself before you start going towards impressing. And that was the same thing that some gentlemen called Phil Collins and his other colleagues, that was what they spoke about building big brands. If you are here, you are thinking of machinery to build your life, you will most likely fail. If you don't build yourself, your future is going to be bleak. Now, the only time I carried bullets, cronje, you know that thing that you write in a small sheet of paper when you go to the exam hall. The only time when I carried it for Economics 201, University of Ilorin, Mr. Fale, I could not think. The minute I carried that thing, everything in my head disappeared. And I was just thinking about what was in my socks. And there were lecturers around, and I couldn't just think. That is how life is. When you use people as a crutch or as a mercenary to achieve whatever you want to do, you won't be able to think for yourself. So that's why what we are saying is very, very important. So eventually that day I removed it from my socks and I chewed it up. So immediately I swallowed and chewed it up, then I could think for myself. So there are some things that some of you will have to swallow before you leave this place so that your life can move forward. Can I hear say, yay? All right, so leadership asks these questions. Number one, what to do. Number two, why are we doing this? Number three, how to do it. Number four, where to do it. Number five, who to do it with. Number six, when to do. Number seven, how long to do it. Because you must ask yourself, what exactly do I want to do? You can't be everywhere. You can't spread yourself too thin everywhere. You have to focus on something important. Then why am I doing it? The purpose is not known. Abuse is inevitable. Why am I married? Why do I want to be a businessman? Let me shock you. If the only reason why you want to be a businessman is to make money, you have missed it. I'm sure during wedding party is not because he wanted to make people see him, but to make others look glamorous and famous. Shogo said it. He wanted to pour into those young guys. If you are here because of you alone, then there will be no future for you. How to do it. It's important how to do it. I'm sorry to say, but most millennials have not been taught how to do something. You have only been taught how to copy and paste. And copy and paste does not last. You see, the places you are copying from, the person scoring you knows that you've been there. Sometimes when I send my son on an errand and he comes back, I tell him everything he did on the road. He said, Daddy, how did you know? I'm like, you don't know that as you are going, my eyes went with you. It's a lie, it's because I've also gone through that part. So how to do it, where to do it, location sensitive. I'm sure if they are tempted to build some of the things we see abroad, if they are going to build it in Nigeria, it will fail. Yes. Imagine you having a Japan bullet train in Nigeria. At night, some people will go and they'll start to steal the tracks. Are you here with me, guys? Then who to do it with? Partnership. You see, leadership is harnessing the efforts of other people in order to achieve particular goals or tasks. So when you are harnessing, if you harness a fifth columnist, the fifth columnist is somebody who does not have the interest of the project at heart, but he has an ultimate. And example of that is Nigerian football. When they go for any FIFA event, and you see one that wants to shine, do leg, instead of him to pass, he will make a solo run. But you know, British football is more of what? Kick and what? Sorry, kick and what? So, who to do it with? Partnership, teams. No leader can succeed if nobody is following him. Your brand can't go to the next level if you cannot take some people with you to that level. Because you can't be everything. It's about 7 people doing your job, not you doing the job of 7 people. You must understand that. Then when to do it, when is the right time? There's always the right time. Then how long to do it? You must understand that some things are seasonal as a leader. Were you not shocked to see butter in sachet and to see milk in sachet? Big brands now put their things in sachet. Because they realize that volume sales is better than what? Specific sales. Only Rolls Royce, Bugatti, Lamborghini, and some of these things, they don't need volume sales for that. So you must ask yourself when to do it and how long to do it for. Let's move on. So leadership is basically a question of wisdom, not a question of age. Show my age, meaning. Not a question of where you belong to, pedigree. I'm of this stock. Wisdom, because I remember I didn't say knowledge, I said wisdom. Please, can I see the time behind? All right. It's covered now. I said wisdom, not knowledge, because you see, knowledge is the accumulation of facts and information. But too much knowledge can cause infoglut, G-L-U-T, that is constipation from too many knowledge. So you know too many things, you can't execute anything. But wisdom is knowing what to apply per time, per chance. You know, when we gave birth to my first daughter, she's 15 now. Because it was our first daughter, we bought things. My wife bought beautiful creams and everything. We were pancaking her, creaming her. Then she started developing some things on her skin. I was like, what happened? I was scared. Can you come? Bought expensive cream. Somebody advised us, use Ori. The minute I started using Ori, everything cleared up. So, you had money, you went to Harvard, then you came back to Kuntu. They are now speaking grammar. Hello, hi. So we want to start a chain of restaurant here, and we're going to be selling some cuisine and some things here. Then your first day, you do free food. People will turn up now. The next day, no market. You had knowledge, but you had no what? Wisdom. Have you seen Amala Place? She didn't call it a Cinderella John. It's Amala Place. So it's not how big. It's not how big you are, but it's the wisdom that you apply. Now let's really talk about bad leadership, good leadership, then I'll just end. Now in 1989, Mr. Shoko should be interested in this. Nigeria was playing at Saudi Arabia. They were playing and they gave us 4-0, Russia and Nigeria. 4-0 within the first 30 minutes. And we went for a break and we came back. And the last 30 minutes, Nigeria replied with 4. Christopher Henry scored 2, then I think Samuel Elijah and Oruma Abi. Is it Oruma with 4 minutes or something? I scored the last night. And we went and we won on penalty. What changed the game is leadership. What will change your life is leadership. There are people living in Lorry as if they are living in London. There are people living in Lorry and going to watch Premiership match and coming back without them making any noise. So if you don't lead yourself, you can't lead anybody. If you don't understand leadership, you will remain at the subsistence level for long. Now, subsistence is like, oh, Lord, that's why, do this, do that, okay, let's do this, what I'm going to Indomie. You'll be at that level. You can only feed yourself. While some people have moved on to legacy level, they've even passed commercial level. Coca-Cola. Another bad decision is Nokia. Nokia was a good brand. Nokia did not fail because they did something wrong. It was not because the MD slept with the secretary. It was not because they didn't shift. They didn't change when time. BlackBerry came, they would have bought BlackBerry. They just sat down, feeling comfortable. You see, comfort kills inspiration. Remember that man that was marooned on an island? And he stayed on that hill and was shouting, help me, but help me. Nobody saw him. Suddenly he had an idea. He set his hut, he set it on fire. If they didn't see that fire, then there was no place for him to sleep. So he made a calculated. So he burned his hut and they saw the fire. Somebody said, oh, blimey, there's fire on the island. And they came and they rescued him. What are you setting on fire concerning your life? So Nokia, you can see it online where the management were crying. Microsoft acquired them, and the MD and the other, they were crying. They were crying that we didn't do any wrong thing, but they failed to change. They failed to change. So what could make a boy who grew up from Ajegule, kiss me, I slap you? What could make me stand on global platforms? I'm speaking. Because I made the change. I switched. I dumped some of my friends. Because I was a bad boy in school. But we don't need to know that part of me. Somebody on Instagram said, BJ. Ogologo. I said, BJ is not Ogologo again. BJ has changed. So in building the future, think depth before width. Think depth before width. Millennials, say depth before width. Because I don't understand why you need to use foundation before your makeup. So that your makeup can stay on, right? Why don't you just put the powder? But you need that foundation to push in so that that makeup can sit up on it well. That's what they. But some of us, we want to impress. One guy, everything I say on my wall, he will take it to his wall and say it. So people were like, yes, that's right. Incidentally, the guy, we have the same surname. So when I found, I said, excuse me, why are you, everything I say, you take it to your wall, you say it. You should be able to tell people that you got it from me. But no, you want it to be impressive. Some of us want to be impressive. There's nothing wrong with having iPhone 14 if your business demands pictures that can be clearer than that. There's nothing wrong. But I'm sure you know that Aliko Dangote does not use the iPhone 14. I'm sure you know. So, the important and not the impressive. Think depth and not what? Because the media will only showcase the bad side of you. As a way of ending this, the future is actually not a place, it's not a state, it's not an event. The future is now. Are you guys here with me? So it is either you innovate or you die. That's just it. You innovate or what? You die. So leaders usher themselves, their teams, created entities into the future. Don't let the future come and meet you like Nokia. We can count a number of companies that are dead now because the future came upon them They didn't evolve for the future. You see, BMW was not a car company. Mercedes was not a car company. These guys just stumbled on a gold mine. You must reinvent yourself if you are to function in the future. Because why will somebody like Jose Mourinho, who never played active football, why will he be one of the most desired coaches in the world? Why is that? The guy didn't play any football. But the guy knows more than what footballers know. Who told you are limited? Don't let people, just like, is it Shogo that said that or Shola? Don't let people build walls of, well, you can't do this. I'm a bad stammerer. I stutter. If I sit down now and you come to talk to me, I'll like, is that meeting you? But once I come here like this, I don't know. It's the stuttering just, you need to step out. So leadership of the self means that you need to upward now, update your skills. Say update your skills. We all need to up our skills. You need to be relevant to this generation. So what I did concerning myself is that I removed a lot of old people around me, and I started getting in touch with younger people. So I'm closer to people that are in their 30s and 40s, rather than people that are in their 50s. I'm 51, but I don't want to dress like my age. So I make videos on TikTok. I dance on my status. I give them, and then I tell myself, teach me. But I've not been able to learn that. But then I can do all these things. Because that is what draws them to you. I have 5 minutes more, right? Okay. 2 minutes. So all marks of efficient leaders. And this is generic. This is global. Number 1, vision. Every efficient leader must have a vision. You know where you are going to. Number 2, you must be able to communicate that vision. Number 3, people skills, social intelligence. You must know how to relate with people. Shola has dealt with that. Number 4, character is important. Because that's where you build every other thing on. Charisma is there too. Charisma is your ability to be adaptive and your ability to be able to be cheerful. Don't be moody. Courage is important. You do it in spite of fear. Then lastly, steward. You must be able to steward. You must be able to serve. Service is important. Before I end in 1 minute, if you're a leader here, you must learn, you must go and read materials on how to harness people, how to lead a team. I watched the movie. The team leader was the wife, and the husband is the recruit. So when the wife shows up, and they go, the husband. But when they get home, the guy will kill a lady. And when they get to the field, you must understand that. So where the next phase of growth lies for you is this. Number 1, discover what your leadership propensities are. You can't be good everywhere. I'm lazy physically. I'm lazy logistics-wise. But I have strength. I can sit down with you for 4 hours. Develop those beautiful, productive propensities. Then execute the small ones you have. It's when you don't execute what you discover, it will die. It will remain in those pipes. Pipeline. Me, I've stolen a lot of things there today that I will tweet them. The future begins now. You have to be intentional. You have to build capacity. Your life can only be understood backwards. So nobody knows the future. But you must live forward. And the way to live forward is to update yourself, update your skills. If you want to be happy, don't dwell in the past. Don't worry about the future, focus on living in the present. Your future is now. It started yesterday. So wake up and smell the coffee. But it has received a breath of fresh air today. it will go places tomorrow. Welcome to Possibilities. Thank you.